What's good, Phinish, and what's good? It's your boy Reason. We are back here for another one. Shout out to Tommy Brinkley, who just got married on Friday the 13th. Congratulations, dude. 11 days fresh in your marriage, eh? Good for you, buddy. Welcome to the life. All right. Yeah, I see there's a debate going on about the whole Merritt thing right now. I'll tell you guys right now, if Merritt gets cut, he does not make it to the practice squad. He will be picked up by another team. The difference between this year and last year was last year he got injured during camp and then he caught COVID, so there was no tape on him. Teams really couldn't gauge his development. Now that there's tape on the kid and training camp reports and such, they can gauge his development and where he's at. I'll tell you right now, if Kirk Merritt gets cut, he will be a New England Patriot. Like, you can bet your money. Look at teams that need and don't have wide receiver depth. Kirk Merritt will be on a team like that, and the Patriots will probably be first in line to put in a waiver claim for him. So totally different situation last year than it was this year. So yeah, and because of the announcement today that Lynn Bowden Jr. is being moved to IR, he does not count against the roster, and he is not able to play this year. So, and yeah, Troy Nuke, they actually can't afford to cut Grant. You save money if you cut Grant. I see Cap for Life and Corn72 in the comment section. Guys, I'm not holding your fantasy spots forever. So I've emailed you guys this weekend. You guys basically have till tomorrow to send me the entry fee. If I don't get the entry fee, I'm opening the spots back up, guys. So I want to get those filled up. Just sticking with fantasy for a minute too. Yeah, I've got some spots opened up because some people flopped. So you let me know if you'd like to join the fantasy league. The free league is filled up, but there's the email if you want to join the $25 pay league. Yeah. So Corn72, Cap for Life, and Victor Ramos, I'm giving you till tomorrow. If I don't get your payments, then you guys I'm gonna open your spots back up. So based on that, right now, I haven't heard from any of them. So if you want to be first in line to take their spot, I mean, first come, first serve, really. So I got 3 spots left. Phinside the NFL. Paid fantasy league, $25. I can send you all the information, but you do not get an invite to the league until you pay your fee. All right. If you'd like to donate to the channel, PayPal.me/Phinside. Shout out to all the Patreons, patreon.com/Phinside the NFL. You can also become a Phinside the NFL YouTube member by hitting the join button next to subscribe down below. Patchvibes.com. Use code Phinside to save 20% off of your order. Backroomcollection.net. Use Reason to save 10% off of your order. And I got hit up again by another sponsor, so I'll have some more sponsors coming. All right. So Street King, email me, bro. I'll slap you in one right now. Because I haven't heard back, so I got room. I can slap you in. All right. So basically today, they're practicing today. They're practicing tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. And today was just a simple walkthrough. Nothing crazy. We got some basic footage to go over. Nothing crazy at all. We got some reports. A lot of it is about the fact that the receivers are back. I mean, Devontae Parker, he was in a red contact jersey today, but Preston was out there. Will Fuller was out there. I don't believe Albert Wilson was out there today, though. But let's start things off. Let's start off with the cuts, PFF grades for this past weekend, and then we'll hop into all these little reports from today. and we'll show some footage. All right, and then I may open it up for a bit. All right. So basically, this is what went down today. If people haven't seen it yet, surprising one to me was actually Jermaine Illuminor was released today. Isaiah Ford was released, and then Robert Foster, he's injured, so they waived him as well. And Lynn Bowden Jr. is officially on IR. Now, how this works is because he Red Comet, me and Clump's bet is void. We had an injury protection on it for both sides. They had to play at least 8 or 10 games. So Jermaine Illuminor, I'm actually shocked that he got cut. Yeah, over a guy like Adam Pankey, like Barry Bailey just said, like, I'm shocked. So Jermaine Illuminor is gone. Isaiah Ford, Isaiah Ford gets cut before Khalil McLean and Kyle Oxley. Go figure that one out. Robert Foster, now I get because he's injured. If he wasn't injured, I don't know if they would have cut him this quickly. But, I mean, they chopped down that wide receiver room. And because of Lynn Bowden, how the injured reserve works, if you're slapped on the injured reserve before the season starts, you are now done for the year. So Lynn Bowden Jr. will not be playing football this year, but he is a Miami Dolphin. Personally, if you want my take, I think this was the way he came up with that leg issue. I haven't heard anything about surgery or anything like that. I think this was their way of stashing him and giving him another year. I think this is giving him another year to get the playbook down, to become a true wide receiver. Because remember, last year was his first year at wide receiver, right? He was a running back in Kentucky before he got converted to a quarterback. So, I mean, I think that's just a way of stashing Bowden Jr. Now, the question this comes down to is the 6th and 7th spot, because you got DVP, you got Fuller, you got Waddle, you got Wilson, you got Grant. Not Grant. Preston Williams. That's 6th and 7th spot, because I still believe they're carrying 7. Yeah, it was a hamstring, Barry. I still believe they're carrying 7. This is now going to come down to 4 players for those 2 spots. This is going to come down to Malcolm Perry, Mac Hollins, who I think is a lock for the 6th spot. So really, I think the 7th spot comes down to Grant, Perry, or Merritt. And I think Merritt's going to win it. If you guys don't have Patreon, I posted this about a week and a half ago. Patreon Inside Info. I'll give you a little tidbit here. I noticed a lot of people didn't put it together. Wow. Zim, Alex Marvez on NFL radio just said Bowden will get an injury settlement and be released in 3 to 4 weeks. Wow. All right. Here's where I stand with this. Now, Jakeem Grant. This is the issue with Jakeem Grant that not a lot of people were paying attention to. Were you guys not wondering why during the Chicago Bears game, why a guy like Grant, who's a proven second-team All-Pro last year, was returning punts so much? And this is why he was returning punts so much. I'll tell you right now. Because he was being dangled in trade offers. They were auditioning him for other teams. Jakeem Grant is not a long-term. He is not in the long-term plans of this team. A guy like Kirk Merritt is, I think, right now. And I think Perry can make it to the practice squad. Because of his size and where he is, Perry can make it to the practice squad. Merritt cannot make it to the practice squad. Merritt won't make it to the practice squad, I should say. So that's what the issue here is. I'm telling you right now, Grant is not in the long-term plans of this team. Why do you think they saw Waddle return one punt for 21 yards and they took him out, and then they put out, and look at this weekend, they were using Noah Benogany. They've been using Noah Benogany a ton in practice because I truly believe the thought process is he's not going to get reps with the ones on defense. Put him out there and get him reps on special teams. Like, you can trade him. It's my whole thing. You can trade him to the Saints and you can get something from the Saints. You can trade him to the Ravens and get something from the Ravens. I don't see Grant in the long-term plans here. Just my opinion, based off things I've been told. If you remember, I was told, what? I told you guys this month. It must have went over a lot of your heads. I was told months ago, before camp started, that the belief in Grant's camp, and this is from someone close to Jakeem Grant who's worked out with them and such, that Grant's camp believed he wasn't going to make the team. And I think they would be fine with a 5th or 6th or 7th for him. Hammer, yeah, they can protect 4 on this practice squad. The problem with that is you still have to release the players and they have to get to the practice squad. You can't just put people on a practice squad. And there you go, Keith Davis. There you go. Kirk was out there with the first team kickoff unit too. Yeah, and he had a tackle. So, from what I've been understood, they're still dangling me on offers. They're trying to scour the tackle market. So, I just don't know if I see Grant long term here. And I think we can all agree, Kirk Merritt was more of an impact player in that preseason game last week than Grant was. Grant's got the dropsies reoccurring again. And then you saw Tua coaching Grant up on the sideline. Man, Grant been in the league for 4 or 5 years. How is a guy in his second year coaching you up? So I believe Jakeem Grant doesn't make this team. That's where I'm at with it. I think Kirk Merritt can contribute on special teams. And people forget, I don't know why we haven't tried him there. All right. He was a phenomenal returner when he was at Arkansas State. Go watch Kirk Merritt return kicks and punts. So who's the main return guy? I'm telling you right now, they're going to use Waddle. As much as we don't want them to use Waddle, you better settle in with it. They're going to use Waddle. I think it's going to be Waddle and Igbenogany. Because the reviews out of Igbenogany out of camp returning have been rave. He's been clutching them out of the ground. He's been doing really well. So, yeah, I think they're going to try and trade Grant. I think that's the move. And the money that Grant saves, right? Like I've been saying the whole time, they're not going to pay a guy $4.5 million to be a returner. So, I think because Noah Igbenogany was a damn good kick returner. I think the idea is Noah's the kick returner because he's a really good kick returner at Auburn, and then Waddle handles punts. So I think someone asked, what could you get for Grant? I think you can get between a fifth. You either get a fifth or a sixth for him. And then if you package him with a pick, you could probably get a decent backup tackle or lineman. So, hey, Zim, I don't want to get into the Igbenogany thing. I warned everyone where this guy was at. Everyone saw him make a couple plays in preseason week 1 and flip their lid. So, I'm not even going to say, I don't even got to say what I think about Igbenogany anymore in terms of cover. He ain't there yet. And that's why I think even more reason they're going to try and make Igbenogany the returner, because they know he's not ready yet, with the ones nowhere near ready to step in. Like I'm telling you right now, mark my words. If X or Byron, knock on wood first, something happens to them, Nick Needham's the first one going in there, and then Jason McCourty. Jason McCourty and Nick Needham will go in there before Noah Igbenogany. So, I don't know. All right. So, Lynn Bowden on IR. He's done for the year. So, they stash him. So, there you go. So am I, Tommy. Jamar Chase is an absolute disaster. Between having the dropsies, Butterfingers on the field, and now beating his baby mama, apparently, according to her, allegedly. Yeah, it's not good. All right. Now, people are really like overblowing Grant as he was a second team All Pro. He wasn't even first team All Pro. Okay. Let's get it correct with Jakeem Grant. And I don't know who was voting on that committee, because every time he went back to catch a football, my heart stopped like he was going to mess it up. Peter Ganem, I don't think Tua or Joe Burrow will be playing this weekend, and if they do, it'll be like a series each. So, all right. Yeah, okay, so the Travis Etienne injury could be bad. Like, he could miss more than this season. I was talking with someone about this today, and depending on how, like, it's a Liz Frank injury, right? Like, it could be bad. These are the type of injuries that can end careers. People don't realize. Yeah, it does matter if you're first team or second team. First team is the elite tier. Second team is the participation trophy. If you ain't first, you're last. Second place is the first loser. All right. So Travis Etienne has a Liz Frank injury, and I mean, these are the type of injuries that can end careers, man. Like, not good at all. So, yeah, even Martina Davies is right. That's a bad injury for a running back. Bad injury for a running back to have. I mean, this is like, these are 12 months minimum on these type of injuries. I mean, Preston Williams, look at his. And I don't think his is, from what I'm hearing, his is not as bad as Travis Etienne. I mean, if you guys have ever seen, I want to show you something. Okay? I just want to show some of you guys this. Okay, that's the results of a Liz Frank injury right there. Those are plates and screws. Okay, this is an X-ray. These are plates and screws put into someone's foot. So, I mean, this is a very serious injury. Like, that is an injury that, yeah, Randy knows what's up. It's a kiss of death injury, similar to Achilles injury in the NBA. So, if it's serious, um, you know, I mean, some guys have missed 2 years because of Lisfranc injuries. Yeah, the difference with an ACL and a foot is everything when you're a running back, everything happens and starts with your feet. Like your explosion, your quickness, your cutting. Like it's no joke for a running back. Randy basically nailed it on the head with what he said. And it sucks, man. Etienne, he was looked like he's gonna be an explosive player. Now I don't know if Jacksonville was gonna use him right. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. That's a terrible injury to have. And that picture that I showed you, that's basically what his foot's gonna look like. So they had this surgery right away. Mr. C.W. Brown 3, Shannon Sharp was talking about Chase struggling with man press coverage. Jeez, it's crazy how you're all over that reason. Bro, people call me crazy, bro. Do you realize people, what's up, 72A's Dolphins? People call me crazy for my evaluation of Jamar Chase. I sent Joe B packing when he started using other people's evaluations who aren't even sitting there watching all the film and trying to say, oh, they're right, you're wrong. I sent his ass packing. That was a Patreon. I sent him packing. All right. Now I'm just sitting back laughing my face off because Chase is not that. Chase is not that good. Telling you right now, Chase is going to be a. He's not going to be the game changer like people thought he was going to be. Telling you, for his skill set, he needed to be like 6'4", 6'5". But people did not want to hear it from me. Telling you right now, Waddle killing it in training camp. Devontae Smith killing it in training camp, other than a minor setback injury. Rashad Bateman, before he got injured, killing it in training camp. Jamar Chase, did y'all see the clip yesterday or whatever of Jamar Chase with a coach running, mirroring his route, defending him? He could barely outrun the coach. So, yeah, I'm gonna I stick by my point. Jamar Chase overrated, overvalued. Overrated, overvalued. Um, some people talking about Penei Sewell struggling. The only reps that I saw that people were hanging on his head were the reps where the guard got blown up, not him. So if you actually go back and watch that, he actually washed Russo out, but Goff could not step up because the right guard got absolutely destroyed. I even showed those reps to Richmond Webb. Richmond Webb said that those reps were not Sewell's fault against Russo. That was the right guard. So I even had one of the greatest tackles of all time tell me that. So I'm not worried about Penei Sewell. Yeah, but Bob Fuller was running at like half speed. There you go, Mr. C.W. Brown, Terrace Marshall's brawling. And what did I say about Terrace Marshall? What did I say about Terrace Marshall? What did I say? I said I would draft Terrace Marshall in the 20s or in the on the top of the second before I drafted Jamar Chase in the top 10. I said Terrace Marshall was better value in the draft than Ja'Marr Chase, because Ja'Marr Chase you had to spend a top 5, top 10 pick on, whereas Ja'Marr Chase, you could get him in the 20s and beyond. I literally said that. And some jabroni YouTuber who started copying my big board swag, adding all 22 all of a sudden after I started doing it to the big boards, Bengal or whatever the hell his name is. He does Madden stuff. And I've seen some of his roster updates for the draft, and it shows how bad his evaluation skills are. When you do the scouting and reveal the grade on these guys. He tried to what are you talking about? Terrace Marshall is better. I'm like, yo, can you not comprehend what I'm saying right now? He's better value in the 20s to the 30s. I'm sorry. Innis, Dan Marino never actually said they were never in on Watson. That's not what he said. I saw the interview you're talking about. He never once specifically said we were never in on Watson. That's not what he said at all. At all. So, yeah, and Elijah Moore looking better than Ja'Marr Chase. Shit, I might have been wrong for putting Ja'Marr Chase at wide receiver 4. That might have been too high for his ass. Let's be honest with ourselves. All right. Enough of that rant. And that picture that I showed you guys, that is what his foot will look like. That is a updated picture of what Lisfranc surgeries end up looking like. So yeah. I saw someone talking about advancements in surgeries. The picture I showed you is exactly what his foot will look like. That's what happens. Like, that's a recent surgery on a Lisfranc for an athlete. All right, we're going to get into all of the grades from the game between the Falcons and the Dolphins. Then we're going to hop in and get into the practice reports and some clips and such. All right. So let's get into it. All right. So PFF grades. Offensively, this is how it went down. Oh, I'm not signed in. My bad. Hold on. Let me sign in. All right. Now I'm signed in. All right. Okay. So, Queres Nato only had 12 snaps, but he ended up being your highest rated offensive player at 94.2. Jermaine Illuminor had 10 snaps. The guy got released today, and he had a 94.1. Robert Jones, which is shocking, had 22 snaps, but he kept it pretty clean. He's an 89.6. Robert Hunt was your highest graded starting offensive lineman by PFF, and that was a 86.1. Jacoby Brissett in there for 20 plays. He got an 85.1. Kirk Merritt was your highest graded receiver. He had an 83.8 on 21 snaps. Malcolm Brown was the highest graded running back at 79.7. Liam Eichenberg, who I thought was just absolutely fantastic at right guard on his 46 snaps, 78.3. He did fantastic, I thought. I really liked what I saw out of him. Mike Gesicki and Hunter Long, 78 and 76.8, respectively, both on 20 snaps. Tua Tagovailoa, he put up a 71.9 on 37 snaps. Now, this could have been because a lot of the stuff was short, but here's the thing. This is the first time in Tua Tagovailoa's career that Tua has had back-to-back 70-plus grades over a 2-week span. So Street King, you're gonna have to send through PayPal, brother. I don't have Cash App. Cash App is for you Americans only, so it's through PayPal, dude. So let me know in the comments if you have PayPal. So yeah. Tua, first time in his career that he's had. Last week he put up like a 76.9 or something like that. So here, let me look. I'll tell you right now. Last week he was 74.5. So 2 weeks in a row, 70-plus grades. He hasn't done that yet. So over 37 snaps. The problem is too, I've told y'all this. This is my issue with PFF. Is it's very subjective, not objective. The problem you run into here is the problem you run into here is, like, first of all, they don't watch all 22. Secondly, the bigger issue is, how do you know it's not a Bills fan or a Jets fan or a Patriots fan that's the one grading the Dolphins game that weekend? All right, DY2 Street King, I'm going to message you the details right now, all right? So, like I said, this is my problem with them. Like, you don't know who's grading it, because a lot of these people are volunteers too. They're actually not paying a lot of these people. So I'm sending it right now. So they got broadcast footage. This is why you haven't seen me do my breakdowns every Tuesday, as you know, during the season. I break down every single drop back of Tua Tagovailoa. This is what I did last year. This is what I'll do this year. The reason why I'm not doing it is I'm not giving you broadcast footage. A, I'm going to get demonetized. B, all right, you can't see full coverages. You can't see full routes. Like, for example, I think it was the Bears one. I was watching a little bit of Douglas, and he said Gesicki ran an out route. But Gesicki, if you actually watch it, by the beginning to the end, you could piece together he ran a post, right? So, but because of the broadcast view, you're not going to get that whole route on camera. So I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste your time. The saying on this channel is all 22 or nothing, okay? I'm the first one in the Dolphins community that ever broke down all 22 film on YouTube. The first. I'm the pioneer with that shit. I'm the originator with that shit. All right? I don't give you guys broadcasts because, like I said, A, it's demonetized. B, I mean, it's not quality film. I give you guys quality. I don't give you, I don't go halfway. So all 22 tells you everything. Tells you the coverage. Like, it tells you, you can see every single route. You can see everything. You can see all the blocks being made at the same time. There's no focus in on the quarterback and then the ball snapped and you don't even see how everyone's set up. So I'm going to give you the all 22. This is my problem with PFF. PFF does not use all 22, and they've tried to justify not using all 22 before. That's trash. You cannot fully grade, especially when you're getting into safeties and corners and linebackers. You cannot fully grade even offensive linemen, right? What do I call the second angle, right? If you remember, all 22 comes with two angles, right? It comes with the press box angle, and then it becomes with the goalpost angle. What do I call the goalpost angle? The God angle, the God view, because you see everything with how the offensive line works. So, you need those views to make a proper, legitimate assessment. Oh, we'll get to Austin Jackson's grade. Don't you worry. So, yeah. That's I don't settle for less than the best. That's just how I am. Now, I've tried, and Irving, this is how you know they're lying. The grades come out on Monday. The All-22 does not come out to Tuesday. I literally get the All-22 on Tuesday, chop it up, write my notes, and put it together in the same day, and then I go live that night. All-22 does not come out till Tuesday. Their grades come out on Monday. They're liars. They're absolute liars, bro. And like I said, I've done work for them, collegiate work for them. Bro, months after the LSU Clemson championship, and they sent me the broadcast footage. I'm like, what is this clown shit? Anyways, my whole issue is this is why I only take PFF to heart when their grades line up with my eyes. If their grades don't line up with my eyes, I move it off. Sam, has Kirk ever returned kicks? Yes, he did at Arkansas State. Punts and kicks. So, I mean, I know it's biased, but unless PFF lines up with my eyes, I usually send them packing. All right. So, Austin Jackson. Someone asked how Austin Jackson graded. He graded a 51.3. He was our third worst offensive grade. So, Jesse Davis was at the bottom on 23 snaps. Jalen Waddle was there at 56.1. I don't know what they're grading that off of, to be completely honest with you. So that's your offensive grades. Now, I'm going to go into pass blocking grades just to show you. So, pass blocking grades. Solomon McKinley and Larnell Coleman and Robert Jones were your top 3 pass blocking graded guys. Liam Eichenberg was right there. Jermaine Illuminor was number 5. Dieter was number 6. Now, we all know why Ahmed's down here. He got a 10.1. Greg Little got a 10.4 on 2 snaps. Why? Because he was in laps. Right? So, I mean, that does kind of line up, but it's 2 snaps. Why even bother grading the freaking guy? Now, Ahmed, we all know why he got that 10.1. And that's because on that play where Tua was clearly throwing to a spot, no one was there and almost got picked off, Salvin Ahmed blew his block. Now, Austin Jackson, 39.9. But he had 0 hurries, 0 hits, and 0 sacks. I can actually explain this one. A, he was on into his lap quite a bit. B, the other issue was there were snaps. You can go back and watch the game for yourself. There were snaps where Tua got the ball out before Jackson blew his block. So, I mean, they're out there. You can go watch. Jackson had blocks where he got beat, but Tua got the ball out quickly. And so it was no issue for him. There was no pressure. But had he had to go through his progressions, there would have been instant pressure and potentially a sack. That's why Jackson got such a bad grade. So that actually does kind of line up with what my eyes were seeing. So that's where he goes. Now, the Eichenberg, I would actually have graded him higher. I thought Eichenberg was fantastic in combo blocks. That right side looked really good. I thought Eichenberg had a really, really solid game. Yeah. I thought Eichenberg was one of our better linemen, and he looked like he belonged at right tackle. I mean, worst comes to worst, you can kick him to left tackle, put Jackson on the bench, and throw Jesse at right tackle. So, but hey, It is what it is. But yeah, you can explain the Austin Jackson if you watch. If you watch the tape, the broadcast footage, you don't even need the all 22. You can see it. You can see it. You don't even need the all 22 for that one. So, all right. Now defensive grades. All right. So here are your, and I'm gonna actually show something to you guys I haven't shown on the channel before. Calvin Munson, I don't know how, ended up with the highest defensive grade when Sam Iguavine goes out there and puts up 4 sacks in the safety. You figure that one out. That should tell you right there that PFF ain't even lining up with the normal fan's eye. All right. Somehow, some way, Calvin Munson ended up with a 94.6. It was obviously because of his coverage. Sam Iguavine, he ended up with an 85.8. And then John Jenkins had 17 snaps. He had an 82.7. Eric Rowe made some big plays. I thought he should have been in the 80s. He ended up with a 79.6. Raekwon Davis had a 79.1. Ogba on only 8 snaps had a 78.2. When you go all the way to the bottom here, Noah Igbenogany was your worst graded defender with the 35.4. And the reason why is, 2 targets, 2 receptions, 100% completion percentage. He had a 118.8 passer rating when targeted. He allowed 29 yards on 2 catches. 14 of those yards came after the catch. So they just took a crap on Noah. But he only had 18 snaps, right? So you got to understand, if this guy has 60 snaps, he can boost that back up, right? So very small sample sizes. Yeah, Benito Jones had a really bad day according to them. So did Tino Ellis, and Ledbetter looked like he was struggling on tape too. So yeah, Ledbetter, I can see that one too. Now, the thing I'm going to show you guys. Shout out to Nick Needham. Nick Needham had a pass breakup in the end zone and only got 71.4. So I think it's because he allowed the 2 receptions. All right. Here is your coverage. All right. So Byron Jones, he went up against Christian Blake and Tajae Sharpe. He got targeted 4 times between the two for 1 reception and 16 yards. Nick Needham, he got targeted twice against Tajae Sharpe and once against Christian Blake. He get 3 targets, 2 receptions for 27 yards. He allowed 18 yards yak, but remember, he had that breakup in the end zone, right? So that's probably what boosted him real high. And he allowed a first down as well. Noah Benogany lined up against Frank Darby and Juwan Green. He gave up 2 receptions for 29 yards, and he gave up 2 first downs as well, 1 on each, obviously. Justin Coleman against Tajae Sharpe, targeted once, 0 receptions. Brendan Scarlett against Frank Darby, targeted once, gave up 1 reception for 13 yards. Calvin Munson, he went up against Austin Trammell, targeted once for 0 receptions, and Munson had the interception, and that's probably what boosted him up so high, was the interception he had, right? Sam Iguavine was targeted once. He allowed the reception for 4 yards, so nothing crazy. Eric Rowe and John Rain, he had the pass breakup, targeted once. So yeah, and then it goes into here, like Tajae Sharpe against Needham, Byron Jones and Coleman, Christian Blake. Now, we'll show you. I want to just show you guys how our receivers did, right? So our receivers, Mac Hollins went up against Chris Williamson and Earl Thompson. He was targeted 5 times for 4 receptions for 49 yards and 2 first downs. Jalen Waddle went up against Michael Walker, Jalen Hawkins, and Chris Williamson. He was targeted 4 times for 3 receptions, and a total of 21 yards and 1 first down. Myles Gaskin, TJ Green, Ogundajai, and Thompson. He was targeted 4 times, 4 receptions for 44 yards, 3 first downs, and a touchdown. Kirk Merritt targeted 3 times, caught the ball all 3 times, 34 yards, and he had 2 first downs and a touchdown. Salvin Ahmed against Walker, Etheridge, and Twadi Marner. He was targeted 3 times for 2 receptions, 19 yards, and he had 1 first down, but he also had a pass breakup against. Jakeem Grant was targeted twice for 2 receptions against Jalen Hawkins and Isaiah Oliver. He had 16 yards and 1 first down. Malcolm Perry against Richie Grant, the pass breakup. And then against Dwayne Johnson Jr., so the Rock Jr., he's targeted once for a reception for 29 yards. And then, Mike Gesicki against Dwayne Johnson and Errol Thompson. 2 targets, 2 receptions, 43 yards, 2 first downs. Robert Foster, he scored his touchdown against Derek Abrams for 8 yards, and he had another reception against Dorian Etheridge on 1 target for another 8 yards, and he had 2 first downs. Jared Dokes against Emmanuel Ellerbe. He had his 1 target for 1 reception and 4 yards. Adam Shaheen, he went against J.R. Pace, and he had 0 receptions. Hunter Long had 1 reception against J.R. Pace for 4 yards. Chris Myrick went against Dwayne Johnson Jr., and he had a first down and 6 yards on 1 reception. So there you go. Individually, that's how our receivers stacked up and who they went against. So that can give you guys a little insight on who phase 2. Hold on a sec, Street King. Let me see if I sent that email to you. Yeah, I sent you. Oh, sorry. Let me check here for a sec. Oh, wrong guy. It's coming in right now, bro. And Aaron, based on, check your email because you emailed me too about a spot. So I got a spot for you, bro. Street King, the email is coming right now. All right. Okay. So let's continue on. Now that you guys have seen who matched up against who, I'm going to be doing that this year too. So you guys can see the exact matchups, who was matching who. Let's get into training camp today. Again, there wasn't very much. I mean, it was a walkthrough, right? It was very simple. So tomorrow, the pads go back on. So, here's what the Miami Herald had to say. Miami's Dolphins coach Brian Flores said Devontae Parker, Abbott Wilson, and Will Fuller are moving closer to returning fully, and all would participate in Tuesday's walkthrough. Asked if they would be participating if there was a full practice on Tuesday, he cracked that reporters should come to Wednesday's practice, and they're getting closer. Asked if he's worried about their availability early in the season, he said he wasn't, which is what I've been telling you guys, right? We reported last week that the Dolphins expect all 3 to be healthy enough to play in the opener, though Fuller is serving an NFL suspension in week 1. None of the injuries are serious. Fuller left midway through the first session of training camp and hasn't practiced since, but is participating today. Parker, who has a history of soft tissue injuries, has missed most of camp. Wilson has been sidelined the past week, but has been on the field throwing a football to himself. Lynn Bowden remains out with a strained hamstring. Isaiah Ford also remains sidelined. Flores addressed other issues. He said the Dolphins won't cut their roster until after practice, which we all know they did. Said he's not sure if Tagovailoa will play at Cincinnati on Sunday. I don't think he might get a series and then he'll be out. He said Jalen Waddle, who was dinged up Saturday but returned to the game, is okay and will participate in today's walkthrough. Teams must keep injured players who hope to return this season on their opening 53-man roster before moving them to IR. That makes it difficult to stash players on IR. If you like a player, you keep him and not expose him to the rest of the league. Teams can cut a player, put a different player on IR, and re-sign the released player if he clears waivers. But then, as Flores said, you've exposed the player you're going to bring back. Players who are placed on IR after being on the initial 53-man roster are eligible to play in a game after sitting out 3 games. Preston Williams and linebacker Orlando Roberts, who were removed from PUP last Thursday, will begin doing some team drills this week. You always want to ramp up and give them as much as possible. Flores said getting them out there was good. Both felt good getting on the field. They did some good things. We will try to ramp them up and get them into some team drills this week. Roberts is coming off a December knee injury. Williams off a November foot injury. Flores said Liam Eichenberg and Solomon Kinley are competing for an opportunity to play a lot. Both guys have had good moments and not so good moments. This week is a big week for everyone on this team. We're still competing and evaluating. Asked about the roster battles at wide receiver, Flores said the competition is still playing out. You guys have guys who have practiced. You guys have seen who have practices, who haven't practiced. There are tough decisions that have to be made. Xavier Howard is sick, but does not have COVID and is missing practice today. All right, here is the updates from today. Today's practice is a light walkthrough. We'll update this blog practice notes when it begins after 12:30. 12:20, Parker's here in a red non-contact jersey. He's back at practice, as are Fuller, Wilson, and safety Brandon Jones, who missed 2 weeks with an ankle injury. Cornerback Javarius Davis, Isaiah Ford, and tight end Ethan Carter. Offensive lineman Adam Pankey, Vince Beagle, and Jakeem Grant are on stationary bicycles. So is Alan Hearns, who is on injured reserve and would need to be released and re-signed to play for the Dolphins this season. He's out at least 3 months after the wrist surgery. Safety, Javon Hollins remains out, but is not wearing a compression sleeve or anything suggesting a major injury. Also sidelined, running back Jordan Scarlett, linebacker Brendan Scarlett, Bowden, and receiver Robert Foster. 12:45, the Dolphins are using the same first-team offensive line as the one that started Saturday's game. Austin Jackson at left tackle, Solomon Kinley at left guard, Dieter at center, Hunt at right guard, and Davis at right tackle. Liam Eichenberg is again working as the backup right tackle. I think it's like an inevitability that he takes that right tackle position, if you want my honest opinion. So I wouldn't read too much. Who do you think will be the starting nickelback week 1? Justin Coleman. Appreciate the donation too, Irving. But yeah, I think it's going to be Justin Coleman, dude. All right. All right. Here we go. Let's get into what Elaine Papar had to say for today's practice notebook. So finally, the Royal Miami Dolphins receiving corps was back in action Tuesday. For the first time this training camp, the Dolphins had all their wide receivers of significance on hand when they conducted a walkthrough at the Baptist Health Training Complex. That included Will Fuller, Devontae Parker, and Albert Wilson, who are listed as the first-team wide receivers on the depth chart. Fuller made his first appearance since he left the first practice of camp early with an undisclosed injury. Parker began training camp on PUP, and Wilson each had missed over a week of practice with minor injuries. That's one of the most important things for me is just hearing the play call from Tua in the huddle. I've been sitting in meetings and I've been hearing it in meetings, but it's different when you're out there. You actually have to go to your spot. Just knocking that rust off with hearing a play from him and just playing fast. It's going to be a fun year. Parker said it was good to get back to practice to work on his timing with Tagovailoa. We put in a lot of work during the offseason, Parker said. This is a big part of what we need, me and everyone else also. And then you've seen the difference with him and how he's been this year. While Fuller and Parker were back Tuesday, Xavier Howard missed practice because of an illness not related to COVID. The secondary also was missing promising rookie safety Javon Holland, who sustained an undisclosed injury late last week and missed the preseason game against Atlanta. On the plus side, safety Brandon Jones was back at practice after missing some time with an ankle injury. The first team offensive line for the walkthrough was Jackson, Kinley, Dieter, Hunt, and Davis, along with the two defensive backs. Other Dolphins players who did not take part in the walkthrough were Ethan Carter, Beagle, Pankey, Davis, and Scarlett. Scarlett was wearing a compression sleeve. CBS Sports announced Tuesday its lineup of announcers for the 2021 season, along with the broadcast teams assigned to each game. The Dolphins opener at New England on Sunday, September 12th at 4:25 will feature the broadcast team of Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, and Melanie Collins. It should be noted that Week 2 home opener against the Buffalo Bills at 1 p.m. will be televised by Fox. So there you go. Week 2 will be on Fox. All right. I just got I think Street King, I think I just got your payment, bro. So once this is done, I'll send you your invite. Be on the lookout. It'll be coming soon. All right. Here is what the Palm Beach Post had to say regarding today. And then what did appear? The entire Dolphins receiving corps, it was clear. Before the snap, Tua Tagovailoa looked out to his left, and there was Devontae Parker. He looked to his far right. It was Will Fuller. He looked in the slot and saw Jalen Waddle. They were all there. All of the Dolphins' top receivers are suited up, running well, and catching passes on Tuesday, and they looked healthy. This is probably one of the deepest and talented receiving corps that I've been a part of, just as far as all of the guys. Fuller said after a walkthrough practice, we all can get it done. Fuller, the Dolphins' top offensive free agent addition, had been sidelined due to an injury since the first practice of training camp, which, I mean, hey, we all remember that. He said, I feel really good. Fuller said they took their time with me, so I felt ready to go a little bit before this. See, I've been telling y'all that I've been hearing he's chilling, right? That's why he just said I've been good to go since before this, right? Like, I've known this. They weren't rushing him back in. Like, people need to realize there was no rush to go and get him out there. So I'm glad to see Fuller back so he can work on his timing and everything with Tua and get better. But I'm not overly worried because they train at the same training facility too, right? I feel really good. They took the time with me, so I'm ready to go. Just getting out here on the field, I'm excited to be back out here. So Parker has also missed some time. He's tall, rangy, high point threat. Fuller's dynamic, speedy target. Waddle is a firecracker ready to explode. Being in that huddle was fun, Parker said. Communicating, talking. It's always good to be out here. Recently, quarterback Tua Tagovailoa was asked about solidifying chemistry with the injured receivers who have lost a lot of practice time. He said, I think only time can tell, Tagovailoa said. None of those guys are available and they're ready to get back in action. It's just practice. I think for anyone, it just takes practice for them to get good at something or build communication, build chemistry with one another. Parker believes Waddle's amazing speed will help create more one-on-one opportunities for him and his teammates, which, I mean, he ain't lying. It said something about Miami's receiver depth when Preston Williams and Albert Wilson, who each have also dealt with recent injury, came onto the field with Miami's second unit, catching passes from Jacoby Brissett. After Miami's last game, Coach Brian Flores was asked if he thought Parker, Fuller, Wilson, or Williams might play some against the Bengals on Sunday. He's like, it's always good to get reps. It's always good to get some game action, and those guys are working towards getting back as soon as they can. We'll see what practice looks like this week. If they can string together a couple of good days of practice, then we'll talk about them playing in the game. Miami's deep receiving core has been thinning out slightly in recent days. Allen Hurns was placed on injured reserve. On Tuesday, Lynn Bowden went on season-ending injured reserve after what appeared to be a hamstring injury. The Dolphins also let go Isaiah Ford and Robert Foster. So as of now, the top receiving corps is Parker, Fuller, Waddle, Wilson, Williams, Jakeem Grant, and Matt Collins. It's a good group. Dolphins offensive coordinator George Gotze said, the thing that jumped out of my mind right away is how many guys have caught an NFL touchdown or caught an NFL pass. 7 receivers listed above, aside from Waddle, rookie, have caught a total of 72 touchdown passes in their career. If and when Parker are fully healthy, the addition of Waddle gives Miami one of the best trios of starting receivers in the NFL. Fuller, who hasn't played in an NFL game since November 2016 of last season, conceded there will be some rust to shake. The Dolphins will also go without Fuller in the season opener at New England as he serves the last game of an NFL suspension. Still, Fuller said returning to the field on Tuesday, more than 3 weeks from his expected debut against the Bills, will be beneficial. That's one of the most important things for me, is just hearing the play call from Tua in the huddle. I've been sitting in meetings and I've been hearing in meetings, but it's different when you're out there and you actually have to go to your spot. So, man, good to see Fuller and Parker back out there. It's good because, if you actually, if you do the history a little bit, it said 72, right? It said 72 touchdowns between that whole group, correct? But the thing is, when you actually break it down, is this: Devontae Parker and Will Fuller, they've combined for 46 of those 72. So that means there's only 26 between the rest of those guys. So I'm just saying, like, it goes to show that they are the big portion and everything moves with how they move with our receiving core, right? Otherwise, guys are going to have to step up. By the way, Street King, check your email. The invite's been sent. If it's not in your primary inbox, then it'll be in your spam folder. So yeah, there's what the Palm Beach Post had to say regarding today's little walkthrough practice. All right. By the way, I wanted to shout out the homie Logan 15. He's been dealing with it. He just recently lost his aunt, so he had to go out of town. So I hope you're doing well, Logan. Hope everything's going good, man. Also, I see Corn 72. Make sure you check your email, bro. I need to get that entry fee for you, right? So, because if you're not going to be in, I'm going to open the spot back up. I've already opened up Cap's spot. So there are spots open up right now, only a few. All right. Last little article before we get into the highlights. And this is from the Sun Sentinel. Miami Dolphins finally got into their offensive formations at Tuesday's walkthrough, and for the first time all training camp, it looked like something that what everyone envisioned from the receiving corps when they came together in the offseason. Parker and Fuller were out there. Wilson was back to lining up in the slot where he can work in with rookie Jalen Waddle. 3 of the Dolphins' top receivers in Fuller, Parker, and Wilson have all missed at least the past 2 weeks of practice, are making progress in recovering from injuries as they head into the preseason's final week. Albeit not a full-on practice, they were active in the walkthrough setting. Fuller, who still has to serve 1 regular season game suspension from last season with the Texans. It was his first on-field action since being sidelined in the opening practice of camp. He said he felt ready to return earlier, but the Dolphins are taking cautious approach to them. I told all of you this is what was happening. Parker went through the light day's work in red, no contact jersey, after starting camp on the physically unable to perform list, getting activated, and then going through an apparent setback Wilson also did his conditionary on a stationary bike to start Tuesday's session. As quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa has impressed in the preseason leading into year 2 for him. It's vital that he gets reps with the top wideouts. Fuller said, I'm excited to be back and work with Tua. His early impressions of Tagovailoa's accuracy, after also working with him some over the summer, you just know where the ball is going to be. It builds that trust with the quarterback that he's going to put the ball where it needs to be. Parker appreciates the ability of Wilson and Waddle to get open out of the slot and on underneath routes, opening things up for him on the sideline. Having them out there, those fast guys, not even for me, everyone else, just helps get wide open on the outside, just one-on-one coverage. Those deep threat abilities can also open things up with safeties consumed helping over the top. He has that amazing speed, Parker said. That's going to be a big part of what we needed. Fuller, Parker, and Wilson were also seen sprinting pregame on Saturday night ahead of preseason exhibition at Hard Rock Stadium against the Falcons. Would the trio participate in a regular practice that wasn't a walkthrough? They're getting closer. We have to find out on Wednesday. Waddle, who appeared to be in significant pain with an injury in Saturday's preseason game, but returned, was at practice today. Flores said Jalen's a tough kid. First training camp, dealing with some nicks and bruises. He's in the training room doing preventative work, getting treatment. He'll be out there. While the team is getting its top wideouts back, new ones are popping up and dealing with injuries. Jakeem Grant was doing conditionary on station bike, and Lynn Bowden was placed on injury reserve after he went down in last week's joint practice with Atlanta. Teammates on defense were teasing the top line receivers that returned Tuesday. We're making a joke like, oh, wow, here they come last week at camp on a walkthrough day. Receivers, of course, Eric Rose said, poking fun at the timing of the return. It's good. They're finally working back in. It's good to have them. He has witnessed talented receiving corps be ineffective if they don't have the rapport together with their quarterback, so he's glad they can get with Tagovailoa ahead of week 1. I've seen good receivers on teams that don't have connections. They don't end up doing nothing that year. However, a good Tua can form a bond with all of them. That'll be great for all of us. So, yeah, the focus today was clearly on the receivers coming back and being healthy, right? Like, that was obviously the number one focus. So, all right, let's get into I've got I think 7 videos, I want to say, but we got some. Okay. Okay, just make sure. Sam W, check your email. All right, now let's get into some videos. So here are Coleman and LeBlanc going out there and tracking balls together side by side. Just nothing special. LeBlanc makes the catch. These videos are I'm just showing you because they exist and I show you guys everything, right? Here's Kevon LeBlanc and Trill Williams working on their hands for jamming receivers at the line. Just stuff them. Appreciate you, Finch. $20 donation for all your hard work, Reason. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, man. I just do it for y'all. Man, I had a brutal day dealing with idiots on Twitter, so I appreciate you showing me some love with that, man, because some of these people, man, I'm telling you, some of these people, the jealousy and the envy that runs through them, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Here's Tino Ellis, Brandon Jones, and Baker going and getting some reps on the tackling dummies. I like the swipe that he did there at the end. George, these people are ridiculous. I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm sorry, man. A good 2 to 5% of this fan base are worthless. I'm sorry, but I'm sure that's with every fan base. Thank you, Kyle, bro. I appreciate it. Here's Christian Wilkins working on his feet, staying low and square. Here's Will Fuller back today, catching just some light passes. Boom. Good stuff. Nice to see him back out there. Here is Preston Williams getting back out there doing the same, catching some light passes. Now you guys might be wondering what the guy, the coach with the 2 pads on his arms is. He's just trying to jam up the stem. That's all he's trying to do. He's trying to throw you off. And then here is Tua working on his footwork, hitting the pads. And then Jacoby's next up, and then make the throw at the end when you get through there. Quarterback's out there working. And then finally, here's Waddle, Malcolm Perry, and Parker just working at cutting at the top of their route and coming back towards the ball. So it's just working on full speed, stop on a dime, come back to the ball. Waddle looks fine to me. Perfect. So good stuff. All right. Let me just see here. I'll open it up for about a half hour, and then I got to get out of here. All right, because I know people want to talk about Lynn Bowden and all that kind of stuff in the receiver room right now. So I'll open it up for about a half hour to you guys. 460 in the room. Go ahead, smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. We are under 60 away from hitting 5K. Let's go hit 5K by the end of training camp, man. That's been the whole goal the whole time, and we're about to be there. So let's get there, man. Yeah, Stevie, I have heard about Jamar Chase. I talked about it earlier. So, yeah, let's try and hit that 5K before training camp ends, because from what I understand, next week training camp is going to be closed off to the media and fans. So, just an FYI. Oh, Corn, you sent me an email? All right, let me check it. Florida Born, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, brother?
How you doing, bro? I think you're far away from your mic.
Oh, can you hear me now?
A little bit. Talk again.
You hear me better?
Oh, now I hear you. Beautiful. Your angelic voice coming right through. Joel, what are my thoughts on Robert Foster getting cut? He's injured. I didn't expect him to get cut this soon, but I didn't expect him to make the team. What's going on, bro? How you doing?
Great. Somebody was saying something about Bowden having a injury settlement possibly or something. Do you know anything about that? 'Cause I really would love to see him stay, man.
Yeah, Marvez on NFL radio said that. I think it was I think it was it was a hypothetical, right?
Because I know he did. I know he ain't had the best training camp, but I mean he showed up some in the Bears. I know it was against the second team.
Yeah, in the first game. And last year was the only receiver that didn't drop a pass, so
that's got to count for something.
Yeah, I think they're stashing him, bro.
Okay,
that's what I think they're doing with them. Russell, what's going on?
What's up, man? How you guys doing tonight?
I'm better because Kirk Merritt looks like he's gonna make this team.
Me too.
I was only off by like a year, but I mean we're here.
Bro, reason you led that Kirk Merritt thing. Like now, I hear everybody talking about some Kirk Merritt, bro.
Captain Kirk, baby.
I mean, Reason's been right about him. He was right about Chase. He's right about Waddle. He's right about Sewell. He's right about Cosme. I mean, I think
Cosme looks good. No? Like Cosme looks like when I did my man crush. I went back and I looked at my man crush list I put on Twitter of my draft players, and I had Sewell as a tackle. And then right under the comment, like in the same thread, I said I should actually have Cosme as my on this list because I've been banging the table for him for like 8 or 9 months, and now I'm like kicking myself in the ass for. Like I put it in the thread there, he should be on the list, and I just should have put him on the list. But yeah, I love Sam Cosme, bro. The thing that I loved him so much was he played right tackle, and he played left. These guys always look for versatility. He gives you that, like instead invest in a kid like Eichenberg who's never played right tackle before. So
yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't, especially from.
I think they were in love with the fundamentals, bro. I think the fundamentals they fell in love with. That's what I think the problem is. He looked good he looked good at right tackle. I went back and watched the game a couple of like 2 more times, and he looked good, man.
Oh, I think he played better than Jesse Davis. I would rather see him start over Jesse Davis. I'm not a Jesse Davis fan.
Yeah. He's a swing. He's nothing more. We're trying to force it. You know what I mean? Ron, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, Reason, how you feeling?
Better. I'm getting to the end of my sickness here. So
sounded better.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it.
That's father life, man. When one person in that house gets sick, it normally goes around the whole house.
Yo, I never get sick, bro. Like even they all get sick. My wife gets sick. My kids get sick. I never get sick, bro. And so when it hits me, it hits me.
Get you bad, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's how I am too. It's rare when I get sick, but anybody else gets sick, and I don't get sick. It just depends on the situation.
Yeah. What's going on, Dylan?
Chilling, man. Glad to hear you're feeling better. Yeah, just pumped, man. Pumped for the regular season to start. Really, I mean, this next game is going to be kind of just backups and back end roster guys mostly. So, I mean, it's still good to watch and see who stands out. But man, that regular season can't come fast enough, huh?
You said
no.
Like
I wish they would have.
I'm not excited about the Cincinnati game because I know it's just going to be jabroni central.
I wish they'd have one quarter of Burrows and what's his name, Chase first, Waddle and Tua, man.
We already know how that would turn out.
Yeah, because we got screwed last year, bro. We got screwed with Burrow getting hurt. Yeah. Well, we all know what's going to happen. Chase going to drop 3 or 4 balls, and then it is what it is, right? Like, move on with our lives.
As long as Grant catches them.
Yeah. They're going to have a competition who can drop more. Irving, what's going on, bro?
Hey, what's up, Reason? How you doing?
Not too bad, dude. How are you?
You look better, man.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Feeling a bit better too.
I was worried about you, man. You're looking pretty bad.
Yeah, it was tough at times last week, bro. That's for sure.
Yeah, right.
But the good thing about like me compared to like my 10-month-old, well, 9, she's gonna be 10 months soon. The difference between me and her is I can clear my sinuses. She can't clear her sinuses. So
that's the
like,
worst.
dude, we're having to like pull out the snot sucker and everything.
I was gonna say the snot sucker. Yeah, the little
and I don't do that shit. That's wife duty, bro. I ain't doing that. Todd, what's going on, buddy? How you doing?
What's up, my dudes?
Todd,
what's up?
How are you, boys?
Hanging in there.
I'm still trying to get over.
Hey, what's up, Todd?
Still trying to get over Travis big timing me today, bro.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the reason. I wanted to ask you, did you see that bullshit trash Max Kellerman was talking, and Ocho, and Cal Turd?
I saw Kellerman
sucking up on this whole
I saw
deal.
Elder Bruce Jones. Shout out to him. I forgot to hit him back, but he Instagram DM me yesterday, I think. Max Kellerman talking about how he wants to succeed, but he doesn't believe in him or whatever.
Yeah, and
Who's
how he
Max
says that
Kellerman?
he could be good,
He
but
said,
he doesn't see superstar. He sees superstar in
right.
Justin Herbert, but he doesn't see that too. I'm like, dude, do
He
you
said Joe
realize
Burrow.
that before
Yep.
this injury, he was gonna go number one? I don't
Dude, don't you remember Max Kellerman during the draft process when he sat next to Tua Tagovailoa and he told him you should be the first pick in this draft?
Who's Max Kellerman? I don't even know. Who that
He's a boxing. He's
really
more of a
boxing,
boxing
yeah.
analyst. Did you ever see his? Did you ever
He
see
Baseball.
has
him as
that
a
show with
rapper?
Stephen A. He has that, yeah, I did actually. He has that show with Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, I know
They
who
go
he
back
is.
and forth.
Hey,
Used to be Max and Max.
But he sat there. Remember when everyone was down for the Super Bowl last year? Like Fox FS1 went down, ESPN went down, and they were all doing their shows live from Miami. He sat next to Tua, and he said, "You should be the number one guy in this draft."
Again,
What about that
Tua
man?
was
Tua was at the-
on the Andrew Luck, John
Tua-
Elway,
Go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
Trevor Lawrence trajectory
Better than
prior
Trevor
to the
Lawrence.
injury. You know, I mean, that's the type prospect Tua was. Now, if you wanted, if you want to discuss the injury, and if that's the reason that you want to claim that you're, you know, have a wait and see
Right.
approach, even though I disagree, or even though I think it's obvious we've turned the corner, at least that's an acceptable reason. But
I mean, that's the only thing that threatens the longevity, as I've said, right? Is the longevity of his career. But other than that, there's really nothing to go off of.
again, it's current. How many quarterbacks have played college football, and not one single quarterback in the history of college football has been as effective, as efficient, and prolific as Tua. What do they think happened besides the injury? What happened between leaving college and going to the NFL, where his skills, which obviously translate, you know what I mean? I mean, this is a skill set that obviously flourishes in the NFL.
Yeah, to play a little bit of devil's advocate, the only other thing you really could say is whether or not a player can hack it, right? Like if they can handle the pressure and all that stuff. But even in that regard,
I mean, he's a big time pressure
The
player,
fact
bro.
that he came
Yeah,
back.
I know,
Yeah.
bro.
Look what he did
Big time.
there was no bigger pressure situation than what he dealt with as a freshman. And the
Yeah.
guy
I
rose
mean-
to the occasion.
I mean,
And that
and-
Georgia,
and-
everyone sleeps on how good that Georgia defense was that he beat in the second half.
With Roquan
Look
Smith
at what
and all
he's
that. Yeah.
done coming
I mean-
back from this injury too. He is
Guys-
a tough
Dude, his work
SOB.
ethic is stupid,
Guys,
bro.
he's
Like,
do yourself a
bitch.
favor.
dude, look at Rich Eisen. Now Rich Eisen's back on the Tua train, bro.
All this is
Do
because
yourselves a favor
all
and
of
just
because
pull
Yeah.
up.
had the year he had. If Justin Herbert didn't have the year he had, you wouldn't be hearing.
Yeah,
all
I wouldn't be hearing nothing, bro.
Facts.
Pull up,
Facts.
pull up Tua's college stats right next to Trevor Lawrence's college stats.
Dude, he has the
Then
best
factor-
touchdown to interception ratio like ever.
87
7
to 11. He's got
Yep.
a
Dude.
better TD percentage,
Todd,
a lower
Todd,
interception.
you've only
Yes.
been watching me for a couple months, buddy. Since 2019, me and EM, when I was on TD Fins Talk, we've been telling everyone Trevor Lawrence is overrated, bro.
Mhm.
I said
I agree.
mechanically,
Reason.
watch
Can I get a
him.
take?
When the pressure comes in on Trevor Lawrence, he dips his body
Yes.
and his accuracy. Now I
Mhm.
tell people, right, with accuracy, your head is right to left, your front arm,
Mhm.
right, is up and down, right? So when you dip your body, right, that's why you always like to have that front arm nice, high, and tucked under the chin, right? When you dip your body, you're dipping that arm. And what happens with him? He dips his whole front body, and the ball starts sailing over top. Yo, Trevor Lawrence is not good under pressure, bro. Like Trevor, like when I watch this guy, dude, I was the only one. I don't know how, but I was the only one who's like, Irving was around. Irving will attest to this. I was the only one after fucking Lawrence's pro day. I was saying, does anyone not have red flags here? Like this guy's missing guys in the back of the end zone from 10 yards
his
out.
gym shorts.
He's throwing to like the he's thrown to like the first row, like, and he doesn't even have pads on. Like, this is an issue.
I know.
Well, Trevor Lawrence, what was impressive about Trevor Lawrence is he was the same exact player he is right now the minute he walked into Clemson. And that was watching Trevor Lawrence as a freshman was incredible, but he has not changed.
That was the problem that was one of the, like, Justin Herbert's
your main thing.
tape. Justin Herbert's
Because Trevor Lawrence is Tom Brady 2.0, bro.
No, I don't think he is. He's not elite
No,
from the neck up, bro.
Not right 2.0.
He isn't even the
Trevor Lawrence is Trevor Lawrence isn't elite from the neck up. The issue with he has the same thing that Herbert had, and that was this. Herbert had multiple red flags. Like, if you go look at his Oregon film, throwing outside the hash mark, like throwing outside the numbers, big boy throws, he had problems with accuracy towards the sideline, which Belichick, Flores, etc. exposed last year. That's how you beat him, right? You force him. You take away the vertical and the seam routes and force him to the sidelines when he's got to rely on his accuracy, and you can beat him that way, right? But anyways, the one flag that he had that Lawrence also had was Herbert did not get better every year. Like, you didn't see a leap every year. Just with, like, Lawrence. If you actually look at Lawrence, if you kind of think about it, and it started with my boy Sam Howell in that UNC game 2 years ago. Lawrence kind of, if you look at it, he kind of regressed. Like, he went from national championship as a freshman to losing in the national championship as a sophomore to not even making the national championship as a full-time starter as a junior.
Tell me Tua does not look like a left-handed Russell Wilson.
Yeah, it's Russell or Breeze. To me, this is what I say. He looks like a left-handed, more athletic version of, with a stronger arm, Drew Brees.
He reminds me of Tom Brady too.
He looks like Steve.
Well, from the neck up, from the neck up is the Tom Brady, where I say his ceiling is Tom Brady.
And Trevor Lawrence played in a conference that does it is not.
That's
you
weak,
know, you
bro.
don't look at you don't see NFL caliber corners. They don't play NFL defense. You know, it's so. I mean, again, I just don't understand what the knock on Tua. If Tua isn't, if all of these guys are better, like if you want to say Trey Lance and all these guys that we should have taken at 3 were better than Tua, then just explain to me why they didn't.
Are you kidding me?
That's where Kellerman was at, and that's where these guys were. I mean, that was the narrative in the middle of the season, in the middle of the offseason was, should Miami consider taking a quarterback at 3? Should we take Justin Fields? And it's like, what did Justin Fields do? Forget about just doing a quality talent evaluation. Let's just talk about performance. Why are they not able to perform at Tua's level if they're anywhere close to him? I just don't understand why we're acting as, like I said, if you want to bring up the injury, that's one thing. But performance-wise, he's I mean, the guy's got, now you want to talk about, and then historical winning. He's got 2 losses in his college career to 2 undefeated national championship teams where the quarterbacks went 1. The defense gave up 40 points in both losses. He played phenomenal against LSU, and both times he was 2 weeks off of, tightrope surgery on his ankle and playing at 80%. True. You know, I mean, like Tua basically is.
Yo, you know what's crazy, Todd? He outperformed. Dude, listen. Derek Stingley was the best corner and he was a freshman that year. Bro, he made throws outside the numbers and took Stingley to the fucking woodshed, bro.
Hobbling around.
Dude, and this guy outperformed Joe Burrow in that game. I don't care what any. Yo, you can actually pinpoint it. If Jerry Jeudy does not drop that bomb, that bomb of a throw by Tua, Alabama wins that game, bro. Right.
If Alabama's defense wasn't, if Alabama's defense could have come up with a stop at any point in that game, and they just weren't able to slow down LSU's
Clemson game. People forget how good that defense was at Clemson.
And that game, I blame that on the coaches because Tua had the one bad pick 6, but then rebounded immediately, came back, tied the game.
The AJ Terrell pick?
Yes, the first one in the national championship.
But hold on. Here's the thing, too. That play was a designed play. If you watch that play, the 2 receivers on the right side run dummy routes. Devontae Smith is on the outside on the left. He's supposed to pick AJ Terrell, and then Jeudy is supposed to come on a speed out underneath And so Tua only does like a 1.5 step drop, and then bam, the ball's out. That's a design play, and that's on Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is why that interception happened as well.
But
that was a design play.
And then Tua goes on to be like 11 of 12 or something along those lines. And why I remember that game specifically for how the flow of the game was, Tua as a prop bet in that game was over 21.5 completions for the game. And he was at something like 18 completions at halftime. He was like 18 of 20, and everything's rolling. And then Alabama tried doing what they stopped throwing on first down to set up the run and tried doing what they did to everybody. You control the line of scrimmage, win the game running the football. And they tried running, and between Lawrence and Wilkins, they just couldn't run the ball on Clemson. They kept getting to in second and 11, second and 10, throwing, in unfavorable situations. And going into the fourth quarter, he finished with 22 completions. I won the bet by a half a completion, but he had 18 of them at halftime. And then they ended up pulling them in the fourth quarter. But Alabama changed its coaching style and game plan in that game, and that's what hurt him. And then the LSU game, as we talked about, the defense just let them down and the Judy stuff. But besides that, the kid was basically untouchable. He doesn't lose football games. Even last year, for everybody who wants to say, he was up and down. This is why I always say he has an efficiency that doesn't necessarily translate on the stat sheet, but the flow of the game and the fact that he doesn't turn the ball over, you look up and the next thing you know, you're winning the football game. And you're not only winning a close game, like I said, 2 of the 6 wins, and we'll give Fitzpatrick 1, so 5 wins, 3 of them were by over 8 points. He had the close game against Arizona, which was just an outstanding shootout. You know what I mean? And he finds a way to win every football game. 2 out of his 3 losses last year were to the 2 best teams in the AFC. I mean, he's just, and that was really at, a base level of what you're going to get out of him. And I mean, this year, I wouldn't be surprised if Tua is the type player that is like Peyton Manning, where, it's 12, 13 wins every single year.
I mean, the best way to put it is that last year was his floor.
Yes,
I don't even think last year was his floor, or like last year was a wash, and the reason why is because of where his body and his health was at.
Healthy, yeah.
Like if you can't gauge his floor, you can't gauge his floor until you see him at 100%. Oh, this year he brings us back in that second half.
The only thing that I agree with everything you said about Tua. The only thing that I say in response to that is because a lot of people equate his success and everything with the team's success, and that won't necessarily be the case, right? Because it's not just him on the field. So that's the only thing. Like I think he's gonna be fine and do everything he's got to. We just gotta wait and see if the receivers stay healthy and the offensive line holds up and so on and so forth.
We need Channing Crowder on TV more often.
Well, let me say this. If you had this year's version of Tua last year with the way the offensive line played last year and our receivers, he would have made the playoffs.
That's what I was going to say.
Absolutely.
Miami's favorite
he can carry an offense.
Media guy, Dan Orlovsky, the only one that's been on the Tua train. He said it had a great take yesterday talking about how a good coach can't help a bad quarterback, but he can help a bad O-line by scheming up, and that's exactly what we've done.
What did I talk about at the beginning, Florida Born, when we were talking about the grades? If you go look at where you watch that game, Austin Jackson had some terrible reps, and they didn't get counted as pressures because Tua got the ball out, but right before the pressure could come. But he got beat on those reps, but the ball was bang out. Like that's what Tua will do for you, man. Tua will recognize where his weakness is. Bang, get the ball out.
I just want to piggyback off what Reason just said, man, because Tua, I mean, I don't watch tape to the extent that Reason does, but I do watch tape, and I've never seen somebody, I mean, I'm not going to say never, but his pocket presence is ridiculous.
It's elite.
You could almost say never. It might be the best pocket presence
Tom
mean,
Brady.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, I'm old enough to vividly remember Dan Marino, and he was incredible in the pocket. Tua was better.
He'd slide, just sidestep.
Especially after the Achilles injury. But and because Tua can actually take off and leave the pocket.
That's
the
thing. Yeah.
That's
the difference between him and Brady too.
Right.
Brady's got a great feel, but Tua can actually move around better in the pocket from side to side, sliding up. He's quicker sliding up.
I'll let you guys in on a little secret. Dan Orlovsky used to show up at Pop Warner practice with a Dolphin starter jacket on and Dolphin hat.
Tell me how refreshing that is after
Dude, did you see his answer yesterday when they asked him?
I think
when they asked Orlovsky, they said,
I love that.
They said, "Are the Dolphins a playoff team with Tua?" Yes.
Yeah, I coached him in Pop Warner.
Dude, I tweeted. I said this guy said yes quicker than he said I do to his vows when he got married, bro.
Right. I'm not kidding. Reason I'm not kidding. I coached him in Pop Warner. He used to show up with a Dolphin starter jacket and hat on.
I miss those old starter jackets.
Nice.
Yeah, those things were awesome.
We ran a little shotgun with him when he was 10 years old.
Yeah,
with Orlovsky.
He's also an Eagles fan too.
Yeah.
I know that.
The Bears defensive coordinator was on the team too.
Oh wow, really? Eh?
Yeah.
Look at you, Coach Todd.
Yeah,
over here,
no, I was gonna say.
I'm
name dropping over here.
I am super excited to see Tua this
Dude,
season.
One of Todd's best friend is a coach in the NFL right now.
That's what's up.
Respect.
Speaking of Tua, if you want something funny, Adam Schefter tweeted something about a letter. Someone sent him a letter about mispronouncing Tua's name.
Yeah, I just saw that. Somebody just sent that to me.
What did they bitch him out or something or what?
I hate. Why do people call him Tagovailoa? Like
Tagovailoa. Somebody just wrote him a letter and then finished it off with "Please tell Greeny too, because he's not worth a letter."
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know why they always say Tagovailoa. It sounds ridiculous. They sound uneducated as.
Dude, there's literally a gift with the letters at the bottom that to pronunciate how to actually say it.
My favorite thing too about this, and then I'll leave it alone because you guys all know where I stand on the Tua train. But the minute you bring up Mac Jones in a comparison with Tua, you compare the two, and my favorite too is all you guys with these wonderful evaluations, you probably should have called Nick Saban up and told him so he wouldn't have made the mistake of starting Tua over Jalen Hurts, making him transfer and over Mac Jones. You know what I mean? Or does Saban not know what he's looking at either? There was never a doubt who was the best quarterback in Alabama. All of a sudden now it's they remind you of each other. You're insane. Mac Jones belongs being Tua's water boy.
What do you think about what they did to Cam?
Yeah, that's
having to quarantine basically.
Well, man,
not allowed in the facilities for 5 days now.
Can you imagine? X will bait Mac Jones into 4 interceptions.
Dude, that's gonna be
gonna start.
Oh, Mac Jones is gonna start because of the whole COVID thing.
Yeah,
because Cam's not vaccinated, bro. Now the whole you can't enter once you travel. You can't enter facilities for 5 days.
Byron Jones might actually get an interception against Mac Jones because
his top receivers are going to be Holland Jones and Xavier Howard.
Right, but I mean Jones is actually going to get a few because X is going to bait him so bad into 2 or 3 that Belichick's just going to tell him just stay away from that side of the field. I mean because he is completely not ready for X. I mean, he'll get baited so quickly.
I had this conversation with Klump.
They're probably
Klump was like, he's better than people give him credit for. I said, here's the problem, Klump. I said, right now he's facing 2s and 3s and vanilla defenses. Do you know the disguises and the looks we're gonna give this kid? What he sees pre-snap is going to be light years different from what he sees post-snap, and the talent on the other side of the ball is going to be a real issue for him. As long as if our defense can stop the run and Mac Jones is the starter, we win that game, no problem.
Well, that's the thing is they're gonna run the ball a lot.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Put Ken in the box.
Exactly. I'll just stack the box. You got Mac Jones. I'm just stacking the box. What are you gonna do?
Listen, Belichick until Tua beat him never lost to a rookie quarterback, and Flores was his defensive coordinator.
That's the thing that gets me.
I think he lost to one or two other rookie quarterbacks.
That's the thing that gets me.
Everybody talks about how good
he lost to Lamar.
Belichick
I'm
is
pretty sure he
against
lost to
rookies.
Lamar.
Everybody talks about how good Belichick is against rookies. Well, guess what Flores did to Justin Herbert?
Well,
He's
not
do the
even
same thing to Mac Jones.
Well, what did I say last year? This is what I said after that game. I said, listen, think about this for a sec. Everyone's raving about Herbert, whatever. What do you think Belichick's doing? Calling up Anthony Lynn and saying, wow, that kid really impressed me? Or do you think he's calling up Flores and saying, wow, I took away the passing game from that kid, and I took away lanes from him, and he still found a way to beat me with his legs.
And
Who do you think was getting the call? It was Brian Flores.
Right, and that's the thing about the narrative. And again, I mean, I don't want to take anything away from the year Justin Herbert had. I mean, I would get into why I think it's a little fugazi, but phenomenal. But the bottom line is, but also Tua got benched in a game he was losing by 3 to the Raiders in the fourth quarter, where while he wasn't scoring points, he wasn't turning the ball over. It wasn't a disaster. He just wasn't being effective.
Wasn't being coached well, though. But my point being, though, but the narrative again is he got benched, he got pulled. Bro, Elway got benched as a rookie.
Herbert
and only got
lost
his
45-0 to the Patriots. He wasn't worthy of being benched there.
Well,
so just because he didn't get pulled in the game, but what I'm saying is just because he didn't get pulled in the game, people don't even talk about it. They just chalk it up as a bad game.
This is what I tell people when they bring up that fucking point. John Elway got benched as a rookie. He only got the starting job back when the guy he got benched for got hurt.
Right.
Drew Brees.
Other than that, he wasn't coming back in. Yeah. Look at Drew Brees. Drew Brees was actually better after the shoulder surgery because he went and worked with a guy who I've been preaching for years since I started this, Tom House. When he changed up his mechanics, got the same throwing motion as Hall of Fame pitcher Greg Maddux, changed his whole game, and became a better passer after he left the Chargers. He could barely keep off Doug Flutie when he was a Charger.
Yeah, look, the thing I hate about comparisons, I mean, there's some reasons, some contexts in which it's fine to do player comparisons, for things like, awards, right? Or, when you're stacking up, where the teams, fall in as far as yardage or touchdowns or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, bro, everything that happened with Justin Herbert, with Mac Jones, with any of these other guys, it has nothing to do with Tua. No. And that's why I hate comparison conversations to begin with, because who fucking, who cares? Who cares? Justin Herbert had a great year. Good for him, The only thing I wish on him is he doesn't get injured, because I don't like when players get injured. That sucks, right? But other than that, bro, I just don't care. I just don't care.
Well, yeah, because they're asked to do different things, right? And they're asked to do different things in different situations, right? Yeah. And again, if you're the Chargers, and all week when you're game planning, and you're the Chargers, and you're Anthony Lynn, it's what do we do to it's beneficial for us to get into a shootout in this game. And that's what the game plan is. Where in Miami, it's let's not turn the ball over. Let's play field position. Let's win with defense. Let's win with special teams. We have a subpar receiver core because it's a match unit. So to, play ball control. And that's what last year was. We were already in a playoff run where the Bengals and the Chargers, it was let's play a 38-41 game and see what happens. And Justin Herbert had, all pro talent as playmakers, and it's a different animal. And
again, the ball 300 more times,
right? Because they were asked to do different things.
Even Burrow played the same amount of games and threw the ball almost 110 times more.
Right,
because they were always losing, so they were always coming from behind.
Yeah, they had games where they threw 50, 60 times a game.
Because the Bengals had better talent in their wide receiver core.
But on that note, guys, I gotta go ahead and get out.
Yeah, I gotta wrap this up, anyways, bro. So
later, Russell.
Give me your final thoughts, Russell, before you leave.
Final thoughts. I agree with you on the surprise cut for today would be Illuminor. That kind of caught me off guard. All this main sports media really need to pick up their game and get their facts straight. And I just want to see Tua shut everybody up. I'm so excited for this season. I cannot wait. this Bengals game is almost pointless. It's going to probably be boring, like you said, a bunch of jabronis, quoted by Reason.
Yeah.
And that's just where I stand with it. I'm ready for the regular season. We're 3 weeks away?
Hey, you boys be good, man. I got to roll. Thanks, Reason, for everything.
Take it easy, bro. Have a good one. Yeah,
And,
rolling 3 weeks away.
Yep.
Right about
So 21 days, guys. Let's hope it goes quick and fins up. And I will see you all later.
Have a good night,
Have a
buddy.
Good night.
Shout out to Mems Salanoa. He said Uso Rees. One love to the show. Keep grinding, Us. Also, two and Fins about to put them haters and crybabies in silent mode this season. Florida Born, your final thoughts before we get out of here.
My final thoughts is how it's always been. Tua is going to be MVP this year, 4,000 yards. Mark it. It's in my heart. I'm not expecting it. But Fins up.
Ron, your final thoughts, dude.
First of all, thanks for having me, Reason, and thank you for all the work you do and all the tape you look at, and appreciate your perspective.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, no, appreciate you. The thing I'm looking forward to is I think with Waddle and Fuller and Wilson and Gesicki all on the field at the same time, we're going to be able to run the ball. We're going to stretch out defenses. Everybody's so worried about the offensive line, but they can't just pin the ears back and come after Tua. You know, and I think that spacing, that's what Flores put it. Everybody's kind of, you know, the sky is falling about the offensive line. But I think a lot of that is going to be taken away from the quick passing game and the spacing you're going to get with all the speed on the field. Mm-hmm. So Fins up. Hopefully, I hope to be a prophet, but only time will tell.
Fins up, man.
Fins up, dude. Dylan, your final thoughts.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad you're feeling better. Yeah, I mean, you know, regular season, hurry up. Come on. I'm excited. I'm excited for the season. There's definitely a lot of reason to be excited. But, you know, I stay consistent. My emotions won't get there until week 1, because that's when it actually counts. So there's definitely a lot of hope and reason to be hopeful for this team. So let's just hope they go out and live up to it. And obviously, knock on wood, keep the injury bug away, because so that's all right. Fins up.
Yep.
Red Comet, your final thoughts, or thought, I should say.
Half thought.
Honestly, Tua's gonna do really good this year, and he's gonna be his water boy.
Okay.
Mac Jones.
There you go.
Oh,
there we go.
There you go. Todd, your final thoughts, dude.
Reason, thank you for the show again. It's incredible. And I just think I have to find a way to let it go, because honestly, with the talking heads, if you question Tua's ability or comparison to these other players, you're just telling on yourself. You know, you're just really, giving, just a clue that you don't know what you're looking at. You don't know how to evaluate players. There's, this is a special talent. And I think, as much as and as optimistic as I am, I think I'm even selling short how much he is going to just our offensive firepower, how potent it's going to make our defense, playing with leads, letting them tee off on quarterbacks, turning the ball over even more than we did last year, if that's even possible. But I mean, we are really constructed to play complementary football this year, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Agreed.
Irving, your final thoughts.
Yeah, man. It's sad to hear Lynn Bowden ending up to hear him that he ended up on the IR. He was a fun player to watch last year. We lost a pretty good asset. I mean, you can use him as a gadget player. He's a good receiver as well. Got good hands, runs good routes. He's gonna be missed. Hopefully Kirk Merritt could take advantage of his absence and really ball out and take advantage and really climb up the ranks. And I hope the people's quarterback prepare yourselves, because the people's quarterback is going to shred defenses with the people's left arm, baby. So let's go. 2021, baby. Let's go.
What a boy.
Fins up. All right.
All right, guys. So I'll be back tomorrow night. I'll be back at either 8 or 9 o'clock because I don't know if I'm recording my first podcast episode with Neil Driscoll tomorrow. We had it scheduled for tomorrow, but I don't know if it's still going down tomorrow or if we're pushing it back a week. So I'll be back tomorrow night because the Pavs will be back on and we'll have a practice to talk about. All right. So I appreciate everyone for coming out, and I will see all of y'all tomorrow. Hope everyone has a great evening and an even better Tuesday morning because Mondays suck. Hold on. Today's Tuesday, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Is that
Yesterday sucked. Today sucked too. All right, guys. I'll see all y'all tomorrow between 8 and 9 p.m. Just be on the lookout. I'll be back. All right, guys. Fins up all day, every day.
Fins up.